Miles and I have been living on our 62-foot narrowboat for a year and a half now, and we have been continuously cruising from the very beginning. So this story is not from us. Our friend Zoe stayed over on Alba for about 10 days while we were away. I'm gonna ask her a few questions and tell you what she learned by living on a boat for 10 days. I've been on a boat for almost a year and a half. I've got used to everything. And for those of you who are watching the videos just trying to figure out whether you want to get a boat or whether you're getting one, you don't know what to expect, I think it's really useful for you to share your experience. You've never lived in a boat before, and what have you discovered?
The first thing I noticed was the people. I have never waved so much in my life. Like there's this wave policy that I didn't know existed on the river. So like everyone waves. It's like a mutual acknowledgement that we're both on the river. Like I'm on a boat, you're on a boat. It's fantastic. Like hi guys. It's So that was the first thing that was quite like surprising, the amount of people that wave. Everyone is really friendly when you're on the river. And I don't know if it's because the people on the boats are people who have a boat are of a particular sort of person. Maybe people that live on the boats have adventurous tendencies, like they want to make the most out of life. Or maybe it's just because like everyone who is on the river is actually just really happy because we're in the wildlife, because the river's here, because admittedly when I was staying it was glorious sunshine, so for pretty much the whole 2 weeks it was amazing weather. Yeah, everyone was friendly. So that's the first thing I noticed was the people. The second thing that I really noticed was the amount of wildlife that there was around, and it was so fascinating to see all of the wildlife. I mean, just as I'm looking here now, I can just see swans in the distance. When I'm making dinner or making a cup of tea, I'm just looking outside of the river, and I can just see swans and their cygnets, or there are lots of bugs. There were lots of snails everywhere actually, maybe because we were moored for a considerable amount of time. There were lots of snails everywhere that came on the boat. Yeah, little tiny micro snails. They were really, really cute.
It's quite unusual, I have to say.
Okay. But I really paid attention to it. And I'd get distracted. I'd be like reading a book or something, and then or doing some yoga, and then I'd see some wildlife, and I would be really mindful and present and fascinated by this wildlife that was just so close to me. That's never normally so close. What else did I see? I saw ducks. I saw some birds. I had no idea what they were. Dragonflies. They were the most beautiful dragonflies. They were blowing my mind. There were some really big ones. There were really brightly coloured blue ones. I felt like I was camping. But I had everything that I needed here on the boat. Yeah. It was really magical. I've been living in the country actually for a couple for like 4 months, and I feel like I'm more connected to nature here on the boat than I have been for the whole of the 4 months when I've been living in a converted cowshed in fields. So that's been quite a revelation actually. The next thing that I noticed was the sense of adventure that I had in like just doing day-to-day life stuff. So like just for a start, like getting to the boat was fun. Like I had to find a parking space, and then I had to find the boat. I had to come off from the road and go onto the towpath. That in itself is an adventure. Climbing onto the boat is a mini adventure. Finding a way to get my bike onto the boat, like putting a plank of wood from the bank onto the boat. It sounds really simple, but if you've never lived on a boat before, like it's these little things that it's like, ooh, that's a challenge. Am I going to be able to do that? And then when you do it, it's like, oh, I did it. I achieved that. I got the bike onto the boat, and it's all great. Making a cup of tea is an adventure because of the wildlife I can see. Going out, I went out on my bike every day and exploring this new place. That was fun. That was an adventure.
We just got rudely interrupted by a flying swan. Sorry, guys.
it's the thing, you get interrupted, you're doing something that's already fun, and then you see like this swan gliding past, like defying gravity, and it's so entertaining. Having a sense of adventure in everyday life activities. I could have had a shower on Alba, but the pump is broken at the moment to take away the water out from the shower. And it's because it's been really great weather. You pointed me in the direction of swimming in the Thames, and that's something that I've never done before. I've always heard from my family, the Thames is dirty, it's dangerous, don't swim in the Thames. But actually, like, swimming in the Thames is glorious. It's so much fun. I didn't find it dirty at all. It was clear. I could see the fish swimming. So I bathed in the Thames every day. I went swimming. I used natural soap and natural shampoo and conditioner. I felt so adventurous while doing that, and I felt really connected to nature. So that was lots of fun. My 10-year-old nephew came to stay with me for a couple of days. He loved it. He had so much fun, and he loved swimming in the Thames as well. I noticed that when I first came onto the boat, I was quite timid about moving around the boat, and I had some fear inside of me from getting to the bank and getting onto the boat and getting onto the top of the deck and just moving around. I think I've always felt that maybe I wasn't a boat person. I've always seen boats go past, and I'd look at them and think, those people are boat people, and I'm not a boat person. I belong on land. But you just get used to it. And now I feel so much more confident walking around the boat, and you get to know like bits to hang on to. You get to know where to put your foot. You get to know how to safely move around the boat. I'm still quite cautious about standing on the top of the deck, but yeah, I definitely feel like I'm at home here, and I can move around the boat. I really noticed my consumption of water and food, and then waste as well. So there's we've got it at home. We've got everything plumbed in. You go to the loo and you flush it, and it takes the waste away. Likewise, if you buy in food products, you just throw it in the bin, and then you leave the bin out, and they take it away. But here, those services aren't around. You've got to do this all yourself. So I was very conscious about how much recycling that I had created, how much rubbish that there was at the end of my stay. Because we have to collect it all, and you have to find a rubbish point to put it in at the end of the stay. Likewise, Alba has a composting toilet on board, so I had to get used to using that. And I'd say it was a really pleasant experience. It was a learning experience, emptying the composting toilet, but it really made me mindful of, again, how much I produce. For me, it's really important not to use chemicals and to use all natural products. And I'm really pleased that Alba has a composting toilet, because I think it really fits in with your lifestyle of leading an ethical lifestyle. But I was pleased to use it as well, because I like to do that too. The last thing that I noticed was how safe I feel on the boat as a single woman. I guess I did have a little bit of trepidation of how I would feel staying here on my own. I'm quite aware that, before I came to stay on Alba, the river and canals at night time were a little bit scary for me. I've lived in London for 12 years, and I've lived in London by a canal, and I would not walk down the canal past a certain time of night. So I've always thought that it might be a bit scary, but do you know what? I felt so safe. At the first night I stayed on Alba, I was very aware about the noises. There's Alba's got a dinghy, a rowing dinghy, and it crashes. It bumps against the side of the boat, and it makes some noise. So at the start, I was getting used to those noises, and at the start I was like, oh, what's that? Is there someone on the boat? And then you just get used to the noises. And in the end, I felt really safe. There are lots of other people around on boats. So it's like not a lonely existence at all. In fact, it's the opposite. There are lots of people around, either walking their dogs, walking past, or they've got a boat themselves. So I'd say actually it's a really great way to have some alone time and to feel like you're a private little bubble, but yet also you've got the benefit of other people being around, and you're in this like community of friendly people that are around to like support you and say hello as well. Staying on Alba has made me consider getting a boat myself. I've got some time off at the moment, and I was going to get a camper van and do some travelling around the UK, and I may still do that, but staying on Alba and having this experience has really made me think that at some point in my life, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to buy a narrowboat, because once you've experienced it, you're like, wow, this is... Oh, there's a wasp.
Can't unlearn it, can you?
It's quite magical. It's a really, really interesting way to live, and it's just blown my mind.
Have you had any negative moments, like concerns, anything to mention?
The only one that springs to mind were the spiders.
Right. Okay,
there are a few spiders. My nephew was scared of spiders, and he came to stay, and I had to be chief spider catcher. But you know, that's added adventure, and I did it, and it was fine. You know, moving the boat, moving Alba is something that's still very new to me. I didn't move the boat when I was staying here. Since you've been back, you've been teaching me how to move the boat and how to cruise. And do you know what? I think it's doable for me as a single woman. I really think it is doable. You've shown me how to do it, and I've got faith that with a bit of practice that I could do it as well. You know, when it rained a couple of times, and I did wonder if that would change my views about living on Alba, because I love having the space on the top where I did yoga every day, and I spent a lot of time sitting on the top deck. And then it rained, and I thought, okay, well, I'm only going to have like half of the space available, but I loved it. I felt really cozy inside. I loved being indoors, and looking out in the rain. And actually, like I went out in the rain as well, because, you know, why not? That wasn't a downside, that was just more fun. I'm really struggling to think of downsides. Okay. I'm very aware that my stay was in the 2 weeks in August and 30 degrees. Wasps.
You have had the holiday weather that we pretty much never get, so obviously it was dry and stuff. You didn't have to make any fire and I know that stuff, but still I think it's really useful for you guys to hear how it's been for you. So thank you for sharing.
This is Marigold. I've had her for 1 week now, and she is so much fun to drive and cruise on, and she's warm and cozy, and she is everything that I wanted in a narrowboat.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was useful for you. Hit us in the comments and let us know if you're thinking of getting a boat and if you have any questions. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to follow along our journey. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.